Chapter 3: How to Start. If you have opened Zen's door with curiosity, this chapter is your map. Zen is not a theory to study so much as a practice to do. It invites you to slow down, to listen, to observe what is happening in this moment, and to respond with a clearer, kinder mind. For a layperson, starting Zen can feel both simple and daunting. Simple because the practice asks for almost nothing, just sitting, being present, and letting go of pretensions. Daunting because the mind loves to multiply tasks, to complicate, to seek guarantees. The aim here is not to create a perfect ritual but to offer a friendly, practical path that fits ordinary life. 1. The point of starting: what Zen asks of you at the ground level. Zen begins with a direct, unadorned invitation to be present in your own life as it is. You do not need to become someone else, nor to master a complicated system. The starting line is extremely low, and the payoff can be surprisingly high. When you begin, you are learning to sit with ease. Not with a heroic posture that demands effort, but with a posture that invites steadiness and alertness. Breathe with attention. Not to force breath into a particular pattern, but to notice it as it naturally flows. Observe thoughts and emotions without becoming them. Not to deny or suppress, but to acknowledge and disengage, so you can respond with clarity rather than reactivity. Bring a kind, attentive stance into daily activities. Zen is not a separate practice, it is a way of paying attention everywhere. You are not aiming for transcendence in the first week. You are aiming for a small, repeatable act, to sit, to breathe, to notice, to begin again when the mind wanders. If you succeed in doing this with patience, humility, and gentleness, you have begun to practice Zen. 2. What you need to start: equipment, space, and time. The beauty of starting Zen is its minimal requirements. You need only a few things, and they can be adapted to your life. A place to sit. It can be a quiet corner, a chair by a window, or a simple cushion on the floor. If you don't have space, you can begin on a chair. The idea is comfort plus stability, your spine tall enough to breathe freely, shoulders relaxed, jaw soft, tongue resting gently against the palate. A timer. A clock, a phone app, or a kitchen timer. The point of timing is not to chase perfection but to create a predictable rhythm. Start with small, doable periods. Clothing and environment. Loose, comfortable clothing helps. If you have a noisy or bright environment, you can use earplugs or a soft eye covering for short periods. The goal is to reduce friction, not to create a perfect sanctuary. Optional aids. Some people like a simple cushion, sofu, or a small blanket, for warmth or a sense of boundary. Others prefer to sit on a chair. Either is perfectly acceptable. The practice is not in the tool but in the intention and the ongoing effort. 3. The basic practice: what to do in a single sitting. A single sitting is the basic unit of your practice. It can be short or longer, but it should be honest and repeatable. Posture. If you sit on a cushion or a chair, keep your spine upright but not rigid. Imagine a line lengthening from the crown of your head to your tailbone. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Rest your hands in a comfortable position, often, one palm resting in the other, with the thumbs touching lightly. If you sit on a chair, place your feet flat, knees roughly at hip height, and sit toward the front edge of the chair to maintain an open chest. The breath as anchor. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Bring your attention to the breath as it naturally flows in and out through the nose. Do not attempt to control it. Notice the sensation of the breath at the nostrils or the rising and falling of the abdomen. Counting or not counting. Two common approaches work well for beginners. Counting method. Inhale, count 1 in your mind as you sense the fullness of the inhalation. Exhale, count 1 as you sense the release of the exhalation. When your mind wanders, gently return your count to 1 and start again. You can count up to 4, 6, or 10, whatever feels sustainable, then start again at 1. Non-counting method. Simply follow the breath, noting its feel, the air cool at the nostrils, the chest or belly expanding and contracting. When thoughts arise, label them briefly, thinking, planning, judging, and return to the breath. Duration. Start small. 5 minutes is a perfectly good beginning. If 5 minutes feels too short to you, 5 to 8 minutes is fine. If it feels too long, begin with 3 minutes and grow gradually. The key is consistency over intensity. Ending the sit. Open your eyes slowly. Bring awareness back to your surroundings. Before rising, notice how your body feels, what sounds you hear, what the mood is like. Acknowledge the moment you chose to sit and the moment you choose to rise. 4. The mind that wanders, dealing with common obstacles. Most beginners encounter a familiar trio of challenges: restlessness, sleepiness, and a busy, noisy mind. All are normal. By recognizing them and applying simple strategies, you can keep practicing without guilt or frustration. Restlessness. You may feel fidgety, with attention pulled in many directions. Shorten your session, and allow the restlessness to be part of the practice. Try a few rounds of slow, deliberate breaths, sighing out softly, and regrounding your posture. If you must move, do so gently. Adjust your seat, rub your hands, observe the sensation of movement. You do not need to suppress the urge to move, you need to acknowledge it and let it pass. Sleepiness. Drowsiness often means the body is asking for rest or digestion has slowed. Sit upright, lengthen the spine, and try a slightly longer exhale than inhale for a few breaths. If the eyelids are heavy, a quick technique is to open the eyes slightly and soften the gaze for a minute, then return to a closed eye practice if you prefer. You can also try a brisk, brief walking meditation to reawaken the body and refresh the mind. Busy mind. The mind will bring a flood of thoughts, plans, memories, and judgments. Rather than trying to stop thoughts, practice returning to the breath. Label thoughts gently, thinking, planning, remembering, and place them aside as you return to the sensation of breathing. You may also incorporate a very brief noting practice. As soon as you notice a thought, you think to yourself noting, then refocus on breath. The marker of progress is not the absence of thoughts but your ability to return to the breath with kindness. 5. Making Zen practical, integrating practice into daily life. Zen is not a practice that stops life, it is a way of perceiving and responding to life with greater clarity and compassion. Here are practical ways to weave meditation into ordinary hours. Short, frequent reminders. Throughout the day, take micropauses, 3 slow, deliberate breaths before opening the fridge, before answering a phone call, before speaking to someone you care about. These small breaths anchor your attention in the present moment and reduce automatic reacting. Mindful walking. You can practice while moving. Walk slowly, noticing each step, the contact of the foot with the ground, the balance of the body, the rhythm of breath and movement. If your mind wanders, gently return to the sensation of walking. Mindful listening. When someone else is speaking, listen with full presence. Put away devices, soften your posture, and become genuinely curious about what the other person is conveying, rather than planning your reply. Meals as practice. Eat with awareness, notice the color, aroma, texture, and taste of each bite. Pause between bites to check in with your body's signals of fullness and satisfaction. Try to eat a little slower than usual, savoring the moment rather than rushing to finish. Brief rituals. Create a small, repeating ritual that marks the start and end of your practice, such as lighting a small candle, placing a finger on your chest, or noting a single intention for the day. Rituals can provide a gentle nudge back to presence when life gets busy. 6. A simple starter plan, 14 days to begin. Consistency matters more than length in the early stages. Here is a gentle path you can follow for 2 weeks. Feel free to adjust to your rhythm. Days 1 to 3, 5 minutes, once per day. Sit comfortably, in a posture that you can maintain without strain. Follow the breath for 5 minutes. If the mind wanders, gently return to the breath without judgment. Days 4 to 7, 7 minutes, once per day. Maintain the same posture and breathing approach. If you wish, try the counting method for a few sessions to explore how attention can be guided. Days 8 to 10, 10 minutes, once or twice per day. If you sit twice a day, split the time into 5 minutes each session. Begin to notice the quality of attention. Is it more settled? Are you able to notice distractions without becoming overwhelmed? Days 11 to 14, 12 to 15 minutes, once per day. Begin to bring a sense of continuity. You are practicing not to achieve a magical state but to cultivate a steady, compassionate presence. If you miss a day, simply start again the next day without self-judgment. Beyond the 2 weeks, you can continue to expand gradually, 15 to 20 minutes per session, once or twice daily, or maintain shorter sessions that fit your schedule. The crucial factor is regularity and a kind approach to yourself. Some days will feel more challenging, others will feel surprisingly easy. Both are part of the process. 7. The attitude that sustains practice, humility, patience, and kindness. Starting Zen is not about proving something to others or forcing yourself to become a different person overnight. It is about cultivating a humble stance toward your experience, a willingness to sit with what is here, as it is, and to respond with clarity when possible. Humility. You do not know all the answers, and that is fine. Approach practice with curiosity rather than with fixed expectations. If something doesn't work, adjust it. If a technique seems awkward, try a different one. Patience. Progress in meditation is often incremental and subtle. A single moment of genuine presence can be as meaningful as a long, settled period of concentration. Be patient with yourself as you discover what it means to be present. Kindness. The mind can be harsh when it fails to meet its own expectations. Practice with kindness toward yourself. If you notice frustration, label it gently, frustrated, and return to the breath. The goal is not to flatten all emotion but to maintain a stable, compassionate awareness. 8. Addressing myths and questions newcomers often ask. Is Zen about denying life's pleasures or achieving a certain emotional numbness? No. Zen encourages full engagement with life, joy, sorrow, work, play, while cultivating a clear, compassionate mind that doesn't overreact to events as if everything were a crisis. Do I need to become vegetarian, renounce material life, or join a temple? Not at first. Zen is accessible to lay people in everyday settings. You can practice in your living room, your office, or your car. The temple is a resource if you wish to deepen the practice, but it is not a prerequisite. Will meditation ruin my ambition or productivity? Quite the opposite. A calmer mind often leads to more accurate perceptions, better decision-making, and steadier energy. You may find you accomplish tasks with greater ease and less burnout. 9. What the path offers, and what it does not guarantee. Zen practice is a path toward clarity, equanimity, and compassion. It teaches you to see more clearly what motivates actions, to respond rather than react, and to stay present when life gets noisy. It does not promise perpetual happiness, a life free of discomfort, or instant enlightenment. It does offer a steady method for meeting reality with a steady gaze and a compassionate heart. 10. A closing invitation. Begin now. Not with grand promises, not with a plan to become someone you're not, but with a simple, honest intention, to sit, to breathe, to observe, to begin again. Each time you draw a breath, you have a chance to be more present than before. Each time you notice a thought, you have a chance to let it go and return to the moment. This is the practice, ordinary, demanding, rewarding, and profoundly humane. If you are unsure how to proceed after reading these pages, consider this short, practical starting routine you can apply tonight. Sit in a comfortable position for 5 minutes. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Place your hands in a comfortable position. Follow your breath. Do not force it. If you get distracted, gently return your attention to the breath, using a simple label if helpful: inhale, exhale, or thinking. After 5 minutes, take a moment to notice how you feel. Was there resistance? Was there a moment of stillness? Then rise slowly. Tomorrow, extend by 1 minute, until you reach your preferred duration. Start with 10 to 15 minutes if you can. In this way, the practice becomes a thread connecting day-to-day life with a deepening sense of awareness. You are not trying to escape life, you are learning to meet life more honestly and with greater care. A brief personal note from the author: Zen is not a trophy you earn, it is a way of living. It does not require you to erase your personality or your humanity. It invites you to see more clearly into the texture of your days and to respond with greater generosity. If you find yourself questioning the value of this path, bring that question into your sitting. Let it become another opportunity to practice patience, curiosity, and kindness toward yourself. The chapter ends where it begins, with a single, patient breath, and the quiet confidence that, in this moment, you have begun.